Family and friends are mourning a Bellingham, Washington woman who died in an apparent shark attack during a Hawaii vacation earlier this month. So, what happened to her? What's a shark attack and what can we do to safeguard against it? Before we get into this terrible event, I kindly ask you to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you become a member of the Fierce Zone family. Thank you in advance. On December 9th, a woman named Kristine Allen, known as Christy by her friends, went missing on vacation in Maui, Hawaii. The U.S. Coast Guard, the Maui Fire Department, and ocean rescue teams searched for the woman from the water and by sky to no avail, and the search was called off after 40 hours. Allen and her husband were both snorkeling at the time when her husband and other witnesses reported seeing what they believed to be a tiger shark swimming about 50 yards from shore. Her husband, Blake Allen, stated that he saw the shark swim by but could not see his wife. The shark swam by several times before he returned to shore and reported his wife missing. The U.S. Coast Guard, the Maui Fire Department, and ocean rescue teams searched for the woman from the water and by sky but were unable to find her. The search was called off after 40 hours. A snorkel set and part of a bathing suit were found, leading to the possibility of a possible shark-human encounter, as stated by the Department of Land and Natural Resources spokesman, Dan Dennison. Kristine Allen was a massage therapist and life coach. In her last public Facebook post, she had expressed excitement about her vacation and her desire to learn to surf. A memorial was planned in her hometown of Bellingham, according to her husband. This incident occurred 3 months after another woman suffered a serious shark bite in a bay on Maui's North Shore. So, what's a shark attack? Sharks are one of the most feared animals in the ocean, and for good reason. They're apex predators that have been around for millions of years, and their reputation as man-eaters is well-deserved. However, despite their reputation, shark attacks on humans are relatively rare. In fact, the chances of being attacked by a shark are much lower than the chances of being struck by lightning or bitten by a dog. That being said, shark attacks do happen, and they can be incredibly devastating. There are several different species of sharks that are known to attack humans, including great whites, bull sharks, tiger sharks, and oceanic whitetips. These species are all large, powerful predators that are capable of causing serious injury or death. One of the main reasons that sharks attack humans is because they mistake us for their natural prey. This is especially true in the case of great whites, which are known to attack seals and other marine mammals. If a human is swimming or surfing in an area where seals are present, a great white might mistake them for a seal and attack. This is why it's important to avoid swimming or surfing near seals or other marine mammals. Another reason that sharks attack humans is because of curiosity. Sharks are naturally curious animals, and they may investigate a human if they came across one in the water. This is particularly true for juvenile sharks, which are more likely to be curious than adult sharks. If a shark approaches a human in this way, it's important to stay calm and avoid making sudden movements, as this can provoke an attack. Before we continue with this dreadful event, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Thank you in advance. Things to safeguard against shark attacks. Shark attacks are a rare occurrence, but they can be a serious concern for swimmers, divers, and surfers. To safeguard against shark attacks, it's important to understand the behavior of sharks and to take appropriate precautions. One way to safeguard against shark attacks is to avoid swimming or diving in areas where sharks are known to be present. This includes areas where there's a high concentration of seals and other marine mammals, as well as areas where fishing or hunting is taking place. Additionally, it's important to avoid swimming or diving during times of the day when sharks are most active, such as early morning or late evening. Another way to safeguard against shark attacks is to use shark repellents or deterrents. These can include electronic devices that emit a strong electromagnetic field or devices that release a chemical scent that is known to repel sharks. Some surfers and divers also use shark shields, which are worn on the ankle and emit an electric field that can deter sharks. It's also important to be aware of the signs of a shark's presence. This can include seeing a shark fin, observing a shark's behavior, or noticing an unusual amount of fish or bird activity. If you do see a shark, it's important to stay calm and slowly move away without making sudden movements. It's also very important to follow safety guidelines such as swimming in groups, avoid swimming in murky waters, and avoid wearing shiny jewelry or brightly colored clothes, which may attract sharks. Another important way to safeguard against shark attacks is to understand the behavior of sharks and to avoid actions that may provoke them. For example, it's important to avoid touching or feeding sharks, as well as to avoid swimming near shark breeding or hunting grounds. It's also important to learn first aid and CPR in case of an emergency and be familiar with local emergency numbers and emergency plans. It's important to remember that sharks are wild animals and should be respected and treated with caution. History of sharks. The history of shark attacks on humans dates back to ancient times. However, the first recorded shark attack on a human occurred in the 5th century BC. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote about a group of swimmers who were attacked by sharks in the Red Sea. In the centuries that followed, there were occasional reports of shark attacks on humans, but they were relatively rare. During the 19th century, shark attacks began to increase as more and more people began to take to the water for recreational activities like swimming, surfing, and sailing. The most famous shark attack of this period occurred in 1916, when a series of shark attacks took place in New Jersey. The attacks, which were later attributed to a great white shark, killed 4 people and injured 1. The event was later immortalized in Peter Benchley's novel, Jaws, and the subsequent movie. In the 20th century, the number of shark attacks on humans continued to rise as more and more people took to the water. During the 1960s and 1970s, the number of shark attacks on humans in the United States began to increase dramatically. This led to a great deal of public fear and concern about sharks. In response to this, various measures were taken to try to reduce the number of shark attacks on humans. These included the use of shark nets, culling programs, and public education campaigns. Shark nets are a type of barrier used to reduce the risk of shark attacks on swimmers and surfers at beaches. They're typically made of nylon mesh and are suspended in the water from buoys, with the top of the net extending just below the surface and the bottom hanging deeper in the water. The nets are designed to create a physical barrier between sharks and swimmers, but they also trap and kill a variety of marine animals, including sharks, dolphins, and turtles. Some organizations and scientists argue that shark nets are not an effective or sustainable way to protect beachgoers, and that alternative measures such as aerial surveillance and personal shark repellents should be considered instead. Culling programs refer to the practice of selectively removing certain animals from a population in order to control its size and improve the overall health and well-being of the remaining individuals. This can be done for a variety of reasons, such as to reduce overpopulation, prevent the spread of disease, or improve the genetic diversity of the population. Culling can be a controversial practice as it involves the killing of animals, and it's important to ensure that it's done humanely and in accordance with ethical guidelines. Additionally, the effectiveness of culling programs should be regularly evaluated to ensure that they're achieving their intended goals. Despite these efforts, the number of shark attacks on humans has continued to rise, and today shark attacks are still a concern for people who spend time in the water. It's important to note that the majority of shark species are not dangerous to humans. Only a small percentage of shark species have been known to attack humans. The most common species responsible for attacks on humans are great white, tiger, bull, and oceanic white tips. Most of the shark attacks are not fatal. It's also important to note that the risk of being attacked by a shark is relatively small. According to the International Shark Attack File, the odds of being attacked by a shark are about 1 in 11.5 million. The odds of being killed by a shark are even smaller, about 1 in 264.1 million. In conclusion, the history of shark attacks on humans is a long one that dates back to ancient times. While the number of shark attacks on humans has increased in recent years, the risk of being attacked by a shark is still relatively small. In order to reduce the risk of shark attacks, it's important to be informed about shark behavior, to respect their habitat, and to follow safety guidelines when swimming in the ocean. Okay, so since you stuck with me till the end, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and if you haven't already, I'd like to ask you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.